what we were doing. So I guess we'll get started here. So does anybody have any additions or deletions for the agenda? Oh, before we start, what is the aim tonight for us to end by? 8 o'clock, would that be fair for everybody? We try to aim for that.
Sounds
I
good
see
to
heads
me.
shaking. Do we have arms waving? Kim, how does that sound for you? I don't know how long
I will keep it short.
The reports are you want to do, but shall we aim for that?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, Kim, you always say that. She's good to us.
And just so you know, Marg, Drew's only going to join us for about the first half hour, and then he has to head out.
Aw, Drew, we just got to know you, and you're going to leave us so soon.
I'll be back.
Oh, okay. Hopefully, you can join us for a coffee someday. And
No, absolutely. I'd love the opportunity to sit down with everybody and get to know everyone. Relationships is one of the important parts of what we do, and certainly I value all the relationships a great deal. So I would look forward to the opportunity to get to know more about all of you.
Oh, that would be nice. I think it would be very good. It's always good for all of us. If we can ever do that again, I don't know the way things are
It's coming. I think I don't want to, we could do a lottery right now in terms of when that's going to be, or a little bit of a pool, but yeah, who knows when that is. Yeah. I'm hoping soon.
Yes, me too. I think we all are. Okay, with that said, then we'll go back to the agenda. Any additions or deletions? Is everybody okay with it the way it is? We see lots of head shaking, so I think we're good to go. So we have an adoption of the agenda. I almost forgot to do that.
I'll move. Rick?
Is everybody in agreement? We're all good? And then we'll go on to the minutes. Did everybody get a chance to read the minutes? Was there any changes or revisions that we need to do, or are we good to go? Because you know, Nicole makes me sign those. So we got to make sure we're good to go. Okay, sounds like we're good on those. Oh, Marnie's not joined us yet. See how good I am? It just dawned on me.
She's Marnie's running 5 to 10 minutes late. I thought you saw the chat. Sorry, I threw that in there.
I didn't see that. I don't have my chat turned on. You got to realize, I just got this new program.
True.
I can't even find the screen button hardly. So I know I didn't see that. Okay, well then, shall we move on to the manager's report, and we'll bump Marnie to after the manager's report. Kim, does that sound okay?
It does. I'm wondering if we can. You're the boss here, Marg.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Can we maybe start with introductions, just because we have Drew here, so he can like see everybody and hear everybody and get to know everyone. And then I thought
I thought we did that at the beginning, but we can go back.
So, well, maybe if we just do it quick, and so he gets to kind of see. Lyle, do you want to start?
Mr. Heidemann and I have been acquainted for a while. You know, get used to it, Drew. I was taught it's definitely a sign of respect. What the people in the South used to call me was Mr. Lyle, and I kind of like that because it's informal but a sign of respect. So maybe I'll call you Mr. Drew.
That's what Paul Singh from the Ranch House calls me, Mr. Drew.
And Lyle, if we're talking respect, I don't think ever once you've called me Ms. Krawick. So just throwing that out there.
Oh, gotcha.
Well, that's a good point.
And Marg, I know you did a quick introduction, but do you want to share that?
I'm Marg.
And
if you have any questions, I've
worked
with Kim and Nicole for a few meetings now, and we certainly enjoy their support, and it's been interesting through this whole COVID thing, the challenges that everyone's facing.
So Marg's our chair, and she's also our United Way rep as well. So she liaises between the board and United Way of Calgary. She
Where you want me to go into those details?
just adding a little extra.
Okay.
And Rick,
Yes.
do you want
Oh.
to introduce yourself?
I'm Rick Lancaster. I've been on FCSS board now for, I think, about 6 years. So I have the grand privilege of being the vice chair, which is my way of saying thank you, Mark.
Hey,
Good to meet you, Drew. That's the point.
Nice to meet you too.
Rick is also our rural rep as well. So he lives out in the rural area and brings a lot of the rural issues back to us.
Great.
hey, there's another rural guy here.
And Val.
Hi, Drew. How are you?
Yes.
Good.
We've met once or twice. Val
Yeah.
Borsos. Yep. This is my first term on FCSS. Second
Oh.
year. Gressel and Ryan and I all joined at the same time. So
Oh,
thanks
good.
for joining us tonight.
Yeah, no, thank you.
And Gressel.
Did we lose Gressel?
Nope. Oh, you're muted though, Gressel.
I'm sorry. Welcome to the group.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm Gressel, and I would not say newbie to the board, but yeah, we are batchmate with Valerie, and I would like also to, while welcoming you, I would like also to greet Marmy, belated happy birthday.
Oh,
Oh, nice.
Thanks, Gressel. And Ryan.
Hi, I'm Ryan. I've been on the board for just over 1 term, as you already know, because they both said it. Yeah, and we're trekking forward.
Great. Well, I just thought maybe I'd give everybody I do know a number of you, but for those who don't know me, Drew Heineman, I've been with the town, I'm 6 years now. I am the General Manager of Community and Development Services, so work primarily with the planning, engineering, and safety codes teams, but also FCSS. So what I'm particularly excited about is working with Kim, Nicole, the rest of their team, working with you guys. Again, it's an area that I am not as familiar with as some of the other areas that I work in. So that's where I really rely on Kim, but I know she's got a tremendous amount of experience. She's very passionate about this. So really I see my role is helping support her and the rest of you. And I know coming out of COVID that certainly our social services are going to be a primary need. So I think the roles that you guys will play is going to be so important as we transition. We were asking when we could get together, but we don't know when that's going to occur. But again, I think some of this work that you're doing right now is so critical, and it's only going to be more important. So excited to be here, appreciate it, and then look forward to meeting the rest of you in person sometime soon.
well, thank you.
Does anyone have any questions? This is our burning opportunity. If you want to grill Drew with anything on your mind before he has to escape back to his other responsibilities.
Well, I have a question for you, Drew. When you say you've been with the town now for 6 years?
Yes, I have. And then before that, particularly for the rural, I worked for 14 years for Rocky View County before that. So a lot of experience with both the county and the town. So.
And have you been involved on the Rocky View side as well as the town side with like family and community type services?
No, I haven't, Marg. Randy L, who's from Rocky View,
Oh, he's
he
a
and I
sweetheart.
started at the same time, and
Yeah.
we're very close, and I knew some of the great work that he was doing, but I can't say I have a lot of direct experience. Again, we did our organization had a reorganization last year in January, and then Kim and myself and the team really started to get to know each other, and then we had our CAO departed, and then shortly thereafter the pandemic kicked in, so my responsibilities changed at that point. So I was sort of filling in. Sorry, I've got a dog that's biting my foot here, so
No worries.
and but no, I don't have a great deal of experience, but certainly appreciate how important the work that Kim and her team do, and just really want to be there to support. I know how difficult last year was, and they make such a difference in our community. So I'm there to support them all the way, and then work with you guys too. I love working with people and new ideas, and I'll work hard to move your ideas forward too.
Well, I know I worked closely with Randy L on a lot of open house town hall stuff that we were doing for Rocky View. And he was so nice to work with. So you've had good training.
Yeah, no, Randy's one of the guys I still keep in touch with from the county. So.
That's nice. Yeah. That's it for questions for me, but it is nice to meet you.
Yeah, likewise.
Drew, could you tell us just a little bit more about your responsibilities now? I've kind of tracked you over this last year. You've had an interesting run of things for sure, but what are you up to now?
Well, so our new CAO started on January 4th, Mike Dercott. He's been fantastic. Really enjoy working with him. So it's given me an opportunity to go back to my regular role that I was doing for, the previous, 5 years.
Okay.
Riley Weldon, who many of you may know as well, he was filling in an interim or an acting role for me during my absence as my secondment to the CAO position. So really, I'm focused on the planning, development services issues, and getting to know more about FCSS. But day to day, a lot of the phone calls that I answer and emails are primarily around development in the community. So
cool.
And it's a variety. It's land use amendment applications, area structure plans, building, but we've got so many great people in different positions. So again, but it is a busy department. There's no question.
Sounds it for sure. Thanks.
You bet.
I have one question, if I may.
Sure.
So Drew, nobody foresaw 2020 coming, and everybody has been kind of shuffling quickly to try to adapt to it. What's your major focus for 2021? What, just personally and business wise, what do you plan on trying to accomplish?
I think there's a number of things. I don't want to just speak to this group, but again, like FCSS, I think that's one of the areas that I would like to focus on. Kim and I had an opportunity to really just get started. Like, when the reorganization happened, I'll be honest, I didn't expect that I would be working with FCSS, but I know how passionate Kim is about it. And, we spent sort of a month sort of getting a plan together, and then everything changed. So the one thing I'd say about the town is we have a lot of great people, and people stepped up into different roles. We're able to pivot, and we accomplished a lot of things during a difficult time. So certainly I want to focus on FCSS. I want to learn a lot. I want to listen, and then, provide different advice to help some of the initiatives there. Certainly from a planning perspective, we're working on our land use bylaw. I think that's a critical project. Our team on that is doing a fantastic job. We've got some workshops with council coming up at the end of March, and then a public circulation of that document. And then there's no question there's some fairly large applications coming up as well that council will dive into, and we'll be working on those. So those are always challenging to navigate, even just to get them to to be ready for council's consideration. So that would sort of be primary focus. The only other thing I would say, Lyle, is we always look at ways that we can do things better, whether it's engagement or just working with the community. So, or improvements, like continuous improvement in our groups. So those would be the things I think we're focused on 2021. And then of course, hey, it's not too long and then there's an election. And, then we would probably be doing some strat planning and with the new group and, so it really is, there's always lots of work. That's the one thing.
Can I ask a follow-up question, Drew? So what can we do in FCSS to kind of help you through 2021? What would be one thing we could contribute to your success?
Well, I think, work closely with Kim and Nicole and this group to really give some, I'm one of the reasons I have to leave tonight is I'm doing some courses. So I'm doing one on strategic planning. And one of the things they're really talking about is, develop your strategy, have it be actionable, be able to measure, monitor, and things like that. So I think one of the things is really determine what you want to accomplish. I know Kim's doing some strategic planning. How are we measuring our results? I think we're going into a really challenging time in our community. Yeah, getting out of COVID is one thing, but what does that look like? And then are we in a position to help those who really are in need in our community? So I think this group could really be strategic and think, what are the things that we could immediately do, sort of short term, maybe a longer term, like, because right when we get a pandemic and people can actually see each other, that's one thing. But what about the financial impact that starts impacting people? What about family impact? All the different things that I'm just learning about. I think there's a lot of expertise just in this room. So you can support me by, really helping support Kim and our FCSS team and giving some clear direction of what you want to see achieved. And then I think we'll be in a good spot because we have the right people, I think.
Thanks, Drew.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions for Drew? So I don't know, Kim, do you want to start your report, or Drew, do you need to bow out now, or do you want to?
I'll stick around for a few minutes. Certainly here. I know Kim's got some. I got to learn, so I've got to sit back and listen. So it's not time to go yet. So
okay, Kim, over to you.
All right. I don't actually have tons. You guys will be surprised. I guess the one thing that we talked a lot about last time was advocacy. So I wanted to give you a bit of an update on kind of what we've been doing. We still don't have any word on the FCSS budget up until today. So hopefully over the next few weeks, we get some news on what that's going to look like. But we have been doing a lot of work. So I don't know if anyone saw my presentation to council. I know a couple people watched. So I did present to council, give them a bit of an update on January 11th. If you are out of Netflix shows and you want to go back, you can still go back and rewatch it online if you happen to miss it. And it went over really well. I actually had a couple councillors reach out after as well, looking for additional information. So that was really good. Mayor Janung has written a letter of advocacy for us as well to the Minister of Community and Social Services and the Minister of Finances as well. So that went.
What's their names?
Minister Sani is Community and Social Services.
Oh, yes. Okay.
And I would have to look up the Minister of Finance. I don't know that one off the top of my head, Mark.
Okay.
That one.
Well, wouldn't that be Treasury Board? That's okay. Don't worry about it.
I'll dig for it when Marnie's doing her update because I can't dig and talk well.
I think it's Minister Taves.
Yes, yeah, that would make sense. Well, that'll be interesting. When is that letter going to go out?
It went out last week.
Oh, okay. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of a response they get back. Yeah.
So that was really, really hopeful for us. Also, the Cochrane Eagle reached out as well. So the Eagle saw my council presentation and got in touch with me shortly after saying, hey, what can we do to support you and support FCSS and raising your profile and help get the word out? So we are working with the Eagle now, and they'll be featuring FCSS programs and services at least once a month. So we're working
Nice.
with them to come up with a bit of a schedule on what we want to profile and highlight over the next kind of 6 months is what we're looking at.
So Kim, can I ask you, the letter that they sent out, what did it focus on? Like, did it focus on specific overall funding, or like what kind of support were they asking for?
For financial sustainability, so to
Ah.
reduce the budget for FCSS.
Yeah, okay, just so we know, and we're going to review our letter a little bit later on. Just, it's nice to know how they put it too, you know.
It was fairly similar, Mark, very
okay.
similar wording in please ensure that you're not reducing funding at this critical time. The support that we provide vulnerable populations. Yeah, it's very similar. Very similar to the
Did you have an opportunity to share our letter with Drew, or has he had a chance to take a look at it? Or
no, because it
Okay.
wasn't attached to the minutes.
that's, oh, okay. I think I had asked Nicole if she could post it tonight so we could all look at it, but that's okay. We did much the same, so our letter is going to go out to Peter Guthrie.
Yeah.
Oh, and the happy news, I think the link was sent out as well, but we actually have a finished, beautiful copy of our annual report. So I've drafted a letter, and we'll be sending this to everybody in the entire world. Along with the letter, they'll get a hard copy, and we're also going to be emailing the link out as well.
It took a long time for it to load for me. Is that?
Corey's working on it. She has to make it a smaller, I want to say zip file.
Yeah.
So she
Yes,
is.
It took forever. I almost gave up for a little while, and then it popped up.
Yeah, it's a fairly big document. So what we will be doing for the board as well is we do have hard copies for each of you. So we will leave them at the office, and you can stop by at your leisure to come pick up a copy if you're interested in having a hard copy.
So are you back at work, all of you, full-time, or some, when I say full-time, I mean, are you working from home or are you working at the office?
We're a bit of a hybrid right now. So I'm in the office full-time, and then a lot of our team is rotating in and out. So we took the approach here that we worked with each individual person. Some people need to be in the office for their own mental health. Some people didn't want to be in the office. So we worked with each team member, and we have people in and out, some people full-time, some people virtually never. So we have about maximum 5 to 6 of us at a time in here.
Oh, okay. So you're well spaced out then.
Oh, yeah. And we've moved offices again. We've reshuffled, and everybody has their, due to funding cuts, we have a lot more space in our office, and everyone has their own room now. So,
okay.
So if we're looking at some of the good things, we can manage COVID now in our space.
Okay, yeah, because I think even though they're opening a few things up, they still want people to work from home as much as possible. If you can work from home, I think is sort of the rule.
Yeah, so we're still doing that. The other thing, I know last time we talked about social media and stuff as well. We're in the process of changing our Facebook page to actually be named FCSS.
Oh.
So in the past, it was named Cochrane Programs Opportunities. I can't remember the exact name. It's really long. We did that because we were several different town departments all putting information together. But with the restructuring and some of the changes, it's all FCSS now. So we're changing the Facebook to actually be called FCSS. in hopes that people are going to start getting an understanding that everything on that page is what we're doing. And then we also presented, Heather and I, the coordinator of the Family Resource Network, presented to the mental health and addictions team as well this month too, to give them an update and kind of share information on who we are, where we're at, and what programs and services we offer. So that's kind of the advocacy part. Otherwise, our team is continuing to be really busy. I don't know if you see the Town of Cochrane virtual guide that goes out, but tons of programs. Our seniors programs are so well attended right now, with almost 30 people joining into our physical activity programs for seniors. Hillary's also starting an educational session called Thrive 50 Plus. And it's a whole bunch of different sessions on health and wellness and mental health, completely geared for older adults. So that's just kicking off this month. And a lot of workshops for organizations as well. We are getting some word that some of our organizations are struggling, so we're continuing to put those educational programs and business continuity. We are looking at some programs on how do you close a nonprofit? What does that look like? Just so everybody has all the information that they need to make good choices and good decisions. Frontline team is incredibly busy, both FRN and at FCSS. Pretty steady with clients. We're booking in, I think about, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Nicole, but about 3 days out, both places, to get an appointment with the resource worker right now. And lots of really, really hard, complex stuff coming through our door.
Yes, and have you had a lot more requests now? Things I think are starting to get a little harder on people overall, I guess.
We're seeing more, I would say, housing stuff coming up. There aren't a lot of rentals available in Cochrane right now, so we're struggling hugely with families struggling with rent. Utilities is another big area that we're seeing. People are just struggling to afford some of their basic bills, those kind of things. We did apply for a grant earlier in 2020, and we were successful through ARDN, the Alberta Rural Development Network. And so we did receive some funds to help us support homelessness. So it helps us provide some rent support for people and utilities as well. So we do have some.
How much support did they provide?
Pardon me?
How much funding did they provide?
I want to say it was close to the 10,000 mark. I don't know the exact number offhand, but I believe now we've received just over 10,000. So, and we're going through it pretty good. So the needs are they're absolutely growing now. The other thing that we're looking at is we had a legal resource center here in FCSS as well. So prior to COVID, we had a lawyer that would come work out of our office for a half day a week. She was able to see 2 clients a week and provide legal advice. Back in March, we had to shut that down when our offices closed, and that program remained shut down until just recently. So we're just in the beginning stages of doing a bit of an assessment of, is that something we need to provide under our roof? Is there other ways we can do that? Can we tap into Calgary resources and maybe use some of this virtual kind of support that we're doing? So we're just looking into the Legal Resource Center right now as well. And I think that wasn't super short and sweet, but I think that gives you a pretty good overview of what's happening. Does anyone have any questions for me?
Kim, I do. It's Rick, and I just wanted to ask, with regard to the advocacy letter that went from the mayor to the minister, it'd be possible for us to see it.
Absolutely.
That we could have it on circ to the members of the group and have it as a part of our minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be happy to share that, Rick.
Yeah, thanks.
Anyone else have any questions?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So Kim, one of the things that I've noticed with the group Helping Hands, where we're moving people from place to place, is there's been a real uptick in the last couple of months. We're doing 2 and 3 moves a week now. Is that related to the housing issues, or do you have any thoughts on that?
I actually wasn't aware of that, Lyle. I'm not sure I could connect with Helping Hands and check in with them, but I'm not able to.
It's okay. I thought it might be pent up demand because of COVID in the winter, but even through the cold months, we all of a sudden are doing 2 and 3 a week. So I didn't know if that was, as I said, because nobody's been moving, or suddenly there's been a real housing crisis for those people or not. But I'll work with Helping Hands. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? No more questions for Kim? Marnie, I see you've joined us. Hello, hello. How
Hello.
are you doing?
Sorry I was late, everybody. I just got home a few minutes ago. Anyways, I will give you a quick, brief update about what's been going on in council. Nothing overly too exciting probably for this group per se, but we did have a special meeting about our mask bylaw. So as you all know, that we have a current mask bylaw in place, that if we reach more than 10 cases, masks are mandatory here in the town of Cochrane. It's been superseded obviously by the provincial ruling, but we really don't know what that's going to look like as we go forward, right? Because if the province all of a sudden says no masks and we are at 6 cases, it puts us at risk for people to not wear masks. So we have extended that for now until May 1st. So our mask bylaw will remain in effect until May 1st, and then it will come back to council, obviously before that, where we'll vote to see what kind of our thoughts are for the long term. Obviously, we want to follow provincial legislation with this one, but because of the fact that wording might not be strong enough if we just followed the provincial rule, we decided to keep ours in place just as a safety net in the background. So that way, when we do fall, because right now we're sitting at 6 cases as of today, if any of you didn't know, people start to think they don't need to wear them. So we need to have something that keeps everybody protected for the long term. But obviously, we don't want to necessarily enforce it too far out in the future, because what if all of a sudden nobody's wearing masks and Cochrane ends up being the only community that wearing masks? You can imagine the nightmare that would create on our side too. So a safety net in the background, but that's about it for that one. We've had.
What about the bylaws? Like, has there been problem with people not wearing them in Cochrane?
You hear of certain places people not wearing them, but for the most part, I would say everybody's under good compliance. I have not personally come across really any angry cases, but I mean, I have heard of them. So I think for the most part, people are pretty compliant. And that, the murmuring of, the abuse that we first took when we brought this into effect has calmed down. So thank God. Nobody wants an inbox full of angry mask or anti-maskers filling up our inbox. So that part's been good. Kim did a great presentation for council. It was really good, Kim. So thank you. I think you definitely gained a ton more respect. Not that you didn't have that before, but I think you gained a lot more from fellow councillors and as well as our senior team. So thank you. We've had a couple of updates about our protective services building, which obviously it is so desperately needed. If you haven't been to the RCMP station in a long time, it's like a shoebox that they all work out of. So yeah, they're excited to see that come to fruition, and that will house not only our RCMP, but our municipal enforcement team. It'll house victim services. So it definitely has, it's definitely going to have a great group of people working in it. And obviously, like I said, much needed. So I believe we're looking to break ground hopefully sometime later this spring, and then or somewhere around there, and then a couple years out. So we won't see anything quite yet, but it is on the way, and it looks like a beautiful building.
So how much of the funding for that does the town support, and how much is supported by, is it federal or?
I don't know the overall divide of the money, but it is a $23 million project.
Yeah, I
So
can imagine.
it is a big project, but I think they're still trying to even fine tune kind of, and maybe Mr. Hyman can correct me, you know, kind of fine tune. I kind of think that split yet. I don't think they're entirely really sure what that split's going to look like yet. There's still a lot of number crunching going on in the background, but we do know that 23 million is kind of the cap of where we're going. So, you know, and hopefully we come under that, because obviously it's a big bill.
Mhm.
We had an idea come forward from the Economic Recovery Task Force in supporting, obviously, our business community. That is still ongoing. It's ongoing discussion, and there was a notice of motion also brought forward about how we can best help our businesses. So that will be something, obviously, council decides in the future. We had a presentation from the Calgary Regional Metropolitan Board, the CMRB, which was great. It kept everybody kind of updated on all their work that they're doing, and kind of the whole, like Drew said, the whole strategic side of planning and what we need to be looking at as we look long-term into the future, not just of Cochrane, but within the region. We obviously we're getting ready for Pink Shirt Day. That's coming up. So council will hopefully all be wearing their pink shirts later on in the month. We had a quick update, and this is just background information. We had a strategic planning session, and Rocky View Schools was part of that discussion. And they were just looking for our support in obviously getting some schools either expanded or built here in the Cochrane area. Obviously, we realize that we have some pressure situations, and they're working hard to try to get some things done on their end. So they were just, you know, giving council an update and hoping that we could be a big support for them. And hopefully, Rick, you after that last meeting and kind of talking about advocating for, you know, FCSS initiatives, I did post about the Compass for the Caregiver, and I had somebody reach out and said that they were interested. So I don't know if he did reach out to you, but I hope he did. And we'll continue doing that because I think it's good. And that's it.
Well, that was short, sweet, and very effective. Thank you. Okay, so Drew, I don't know, are you going to hang in there for a while yet, or do you need to step out now, or are we okay?
Muted. What's next on the agenda?
Next on the agenda, we're going to get into the new business. So we're going to start into, virtual meeting etiquette, but we've already been following that, but I guess the town feels we need to have it in print.
Well, you know, at least I don't have the cat filter on right now. So I don't know if everybody saw that. That social media seems to rule the world these days, but that was something else. But no, I can stay for a few more minutes, and certainly I want to participate, and certainly appreciate the opportunity to be here. So I'll stick around for a bit.
Okay, sure. You just say when. Okay, so we'll go on to the new business. I know Nicole very kindly sent us these virtual meeting internet etiquette guide. I don't think we need to go through it one by one. We've been meeting for quite a while, and I think we sort of have all the protocol down, but did everyone get a chance to take a look at it and just go through it? Any questions on it? Or Kim, what is the etiquette? Do we need to go through that word by word? But no, we don't even have this. I work for the Alberta government, and we don't even have a document like this. I was like thinking, wow, and this is from the town.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
Yeah, well, I think it's just, and I think it's a good reminder for all of us, because everything has moved virtual. And it's different than actually being in a room. And I think sometimes we forget that we're actually in a meeting room, even though we're all in our own homes doing our own things. So it was just a reminder to come out. I have no concerns with our group here.
Yeah. I think we're good. Mm-hmm. So are we okay to move on then?
Yep.
Yeah, we're good, Mark.
I got a kick out of log in using oh no, you're supposed to make sure it works before the meeting comes up. And I know that I've had several problems with that. So I was like, oh dear. Okay, so we'll go on to review final funding reports. Now, I don't know if everybody had a chance to read them, but how do we want to attack this? Do we want to just take a look at each one and then any comments you guys can provide from there? How do you want to do it? Suggestions, guys?
Nicole has her hand up, Mark.
Oh, okay.
I also just want to throw out there that we don't have them all from all of the groups from last year. The United Way.
We got that because there's only like 4 here. Yeah.
Yeah, the United Way wasn't able to send out the links for everybody to fill out the final reports until about mid-January. So they did extend the deadline for everybody to fill out the reports until February 15th, which is why we only have a handful of them with us
Actually,
right now.
that's good because you know, just it takes time to go through each of these. So to be honest with you, just having this amount for this time, I think everyone will appreciate that. But for someone who needs their glasses, I did find the print very small. Can you tell the United Way to work on that, please? So how do we want to do it, guys? Do you guys want to go through each one or just open to suggestions here, guys? Feel free to, or do we just, okay. If we're not
Everybody
getting.
get a chance to look through them all?
Hmm?
Did everybody get a chance to look through them? Because unless there's specific questions, I don't know that we have to wordsmith each one, do we?
No, it wasn't so much wordsmith. It's just what questions. So like after we looked at what were the questions on each of them. So like for me on the Western Rocky View Family and Community Resource Center, I just had some really small questions on it, you know, nothing major on any of them. Is how does everybody feel? Should we just do it one by one and have a quick question? And I'm assuming that, you know, like there was nothing on any of these that popped out at me that was anything that we had to be concerned about.
Yeah, I had, for what it's worth, I had exactly the same reaction. I read through them and a lot of it, a tremendous amount of it, we have already covered off.
Yes.
So that's my point.
Yeah, and you know, for some of them, I just had small questions. You know, one of them was on Family and Community Resource Center. You know, they were talking about COLT. Oh, wait a minute, maybe I'm on the wrong one here. Oh yes, the CARS program on COLT. And I just had a question because we always said that we would probably discontinue funding for them once COLT was up and running. And it was saying in here that they're going to look at reserving, where is it here? I've got my glasses on, you find it hard to believe. That they're going to be monitoring the program over 2021 and making adjustments as necessary. So we weren't able to get enough research on it then to know whether CARS is still necessary and COLT is necessary. That was just what I was just curious about that. Can you provide some information on that, Kim, or?
I can try. Oh, I thought I was muted there. I can try. So I don't remember exactly what COLT was or what the CAR program was funded, but I believe it was offered approved for funding for a small grant for 2021. Yes. So this was just the final report that we did for the CAR program.
Yeah.
So what we are doing is we've incorporated COLT into our Access Card program, which is really super exciting. So instead of relying, because up until the time that we had transit in the community, we relied strictly on taxis to be able to get our our people around to medical appointments, groceries, whatever it is that they needed. So now what we're doing is we've taken a look and said, not everybody needs a taxi. We have an amazing transit system in our town, but we know it's not necessarily completely and totally affordable for some of our lower income residents. So if somebody is struggling financially, they can come into our office. We provide them with an access card, which will give them a subsidy to Colt. So it will, I'm pulling numbers out of my head. I believe it's 25% off. Am I right, Nicole? I love when I pull accurate numbers out. 25% off of monthly pass, or 25% off of tickets as well. And that access card will allow them to get that subsidy throughout the whole year. So we're working really hard to try to transition our people from taxi cabs to getting used to using transit. We can't eliminate the taxis completely because we do have some people that Colt doesn't run Sundays, for example. It doesn't run after certain hours. So people that need transit options outside of Colt hours are still eligible to get support through taxis, or people that have physical limitations where Colt isn't the best option. So our team will just use discretion with that. But we are really working hard to transition people kind of away from that taxi program to using our transit system.
So if you're blending those programs, then is the town funding Colt? Like, what part of the United Way would be involved in what? You know what I mean? Like,
that's all. We'll have to determine that. We will have to determine how many people actually need taxis. So that's what 2020 was supposed to be that year.
yeah.
But with COVID, we couldn't measure because nobody, number one, was going anywhere because there was nowhere to go. And we just kind of shut the program down and did it a little bit more ad hoc over this past year. So hopefully 2021 we'll get some good data and have a better baseline of who actually needs taxis, who needs transit, what is the program actually costing. We don't promote this very widely either, but we would like to get to the point where we can actually promote that if you fall under the low income cutoff, that there are taxi or transit subsidies available for people.
Okay. Yeah, so, and then we'll have to work out how it's going to work as far as United Way is concerned. And then between the town and stuff. Okay. That was the one main question. Is there any, Marnie?
Yeah, I can speak to that too. I mean, I've talked to Devin and I've posed the question to Devin as well, because I not only sit on the FCSS advisory board, but I'm also on the Rocky View Handy Bus board. And so we often talk about, you know, what funding is going to look like for all these different models. And they don't have enough data from 2020 to kind of be able to provide that right now, but it is on their radar because obviously the Rocky View Handy Bus budget they're always looking for more as well, but we need to figure out all the different options and how much we need to be funding all the different branches. We want to make sure everybody's covered, but at the same time, do we need to have all three, or is there a way to start to look at other options, right? So, and then the other conversation that came up even with Rocky View Schools is, you know, especially this year, we see so many more parents driving their kids to school, right? Because obviously because of COVID issues to begin with. But I don't think, you know, a lot of that stuff might not change necessarily because so many more parents now are working from home. So, you know, the idea of paying for busing and what that looks like long range, even from an educational standpoint is kind of unknown. So I think that this year, hopefully, as long as life somewhat gets back to normal overall, we might have a little bit more information to be able to kind of pull this all together. But as of right now, it's just there's not enough information to figure out what it's really going to look like as we go forward. But it is on the radar for sure.
Yeah, okay. Okay, guys, was there any other questions on, that was the main question I had, was just how those programs were going to blend. Does anyone else have any questions on any of this?
I do.
Or any of the report? Valerie, go ahead.
Just flipping through some of the reports, and I think we're probably going to see this more as more reports roll through. Just like you and the seniors on the bow both commented that because of COVID shutdowns, basically the money that we'd given them hadn't been used because their programs didn't run. And so what do we do with that?
Well, I know for Seniors on the Bow, they asked to carry it over.
Okay.
And I think that'll be the way. And I think for now, we're just going to have to do that. But it is something that
Are we going to ask for follow-up reports or anything?
I will have to wait. I don't know. Kim, do you have some suggestions there? Like, I would say, Valerie, you're probably right. We'll need some follow-up, but it's difficult at this point. It's setting new ground.
What we did with Big Hill Haven, I think I don't know if it was our last meeting or the meeting before that we discussed that. They came to us just prior saying we didn't have a chance, but we believe that we can spend the money, and we gave them a 6-month extension, I believe, is what we did.
Yeah,
and
I
then
think that was it.
come back and report to us in June. So we could do something similar if we wanted to with groups.
And I think that's maybe something we'll have to assess once we get all the reports in and just see what each of them need for either what they didn't spend or what they want to carry over or how things are going to go forward. So that was a good question, Valerie. Thanks. How about anybody else? Is there any other questions? So we're good on the funding piece. Now I've lost my agenda, you guys. How am I supposed to see? Oh, there, I found it. Okay, so we're going to go to the 2020.
Sorry, Mark. So just to clarify, for the groups that are asking for an extension, how do we want to work that? So we've received 2 already. Do you want us to bring that back, and we'll have to make a motion as well as a board to be able to extend that funding? So do we want to do that tonight for those groups? Do you want to wait till they all come back? What are your thoughts around that?
Kim, have they all specifically asked, or have they just sent the reports in saying nothing's been used? Like, have we gotten requests or just reports?
Seniors on the Bow
request.
Yeah. How about the Variety Club?
No, they didn't. Their report was in here.
Mhm.
But now
They specifically said they weren't able to use any of the funding. So, I mean, though, I really don't want to put pressure on anybody, but I think we want to show some responsibility and support moving forward for sure. If somebody can use the money, absolutely. But just some response and communication, I think.
Well,
is
I
all I'm
thought
suggesting.
from the report that they put in, I thought they did spend it. We only gave them 1,600. And
Okay, maybe I just misread.
yeah, maybe. And then the FCSS threw some more money in. But overall, what they did say, and what I was impressed with here, is they went into details on the fact that because COVID delayed everything, they were late in hiring that resource person. So the expenses are lower because it's of the compressed period, whereas their expenses are going to go up like for the year going forward. So
Okay,
I don't know.
Pardon me.
It's certainly up for discussion if you guys want, but I didn't see that they were asking for an extension at this point.
Would you like me to bring that report up?
No, that's okay.
I have it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's on the second page file under the outline any variances in the budget. It's in there. That's where I saw.
So should we go back to the original Kim's request then? Do we want to, like we've had the 2 requests. Do we need to approve those then, Kim?
You approved Big Hill Haven last time. We
Yeah.
approved them. So it would just be for Seniors on the Bow if you want to extend their funding.
Mhm.
And we'd need to know the time period, and then we'd need a motion to approve that.
Yeah.
So what's the consensus? Do we want to approve that tonight then? And everybody's shaking their head yes. So what do we want to do? The same as the other one? What did we do, 6 months?
Did they ask for a particular period of time? I can't remember.
No, No, they didn't specify. Big Hill Haven did specify.
Right.
But they haven't. But I don't think it would be. The only concern I have with Seniors on the Bow is they aren't open right now because of restrictions and due to the senior population being like our most vulnerable people, it may be a period of time for them to open. But I also know that they're doing things more virtually as well. So they are just shifting what they're doing. They're bringing in their workshops and speakers that do cost money and have an expense for them. They're bringing that in virtually. So
I think 6 months is kind of reasonable, and we'll always review it. It's not a hard deadline.
Yeah.
Just gives us an idea to kind of keep them on the radar.
Yep.
Does that sound fair to everybody? Oh, Marnie?
Is there an opportunity, if they can use that funding, obviously maybe in a different way, that might have to come back to us for approval, but if they come up with a really unique, creative idea that maybe they can provide funding, I would be open to hear that rather than them having to stick with their per se original plan. Because I think you're right, Kim, we don't know what that's going to look like in the future. And my concern with Seniors on the Bow is that even if they do open, that number is going to be drastically shrunk down as to the people who are actually in attendance anyways. So, I mean, if any of their programming is kind of geared towards that end of things, they might be able to reach a larger group. And I would certainly be open to, if they wanted to perhaps take their funding and maybe tweak it into a different way, as long as it comes obviously back to us for approval, not that they're just going to use it on something willy-nilly. But I think that might be a better way to look at it. And I would be open to even leave it open-ended right now for the year, because I don't know what that's going to look like going forward. So I think that would be a fair thing on our end, but obviously up for discussion from everybody else.
One of the things that the board is doing that actually pleases me to no end is they're looking at doing some personal and professional development as a board of directors. So we're working with them on bringing in different speakers on inclusion and inclusivity and diversity and a variety of different topics to help build their knowledge. So when they're doing program planning and design, that they're actually looking at it through a more holistic lens. So that's one of the things that I know they were interested in, which would actually still fit the original application.
It sounds like they're, as Marnie said, trying to look for different ways to cover off what the different members would need, it sounds like. So do we want to go ahead and approve this one, an extension then, and we'll leave it, like Marnie says, just open-ended?
Lyle has a comment.
One point in support of Councillor Fadeko's comments. I think, first of all, I've heard just many good things from Seniors on the Bow, from just the local acquaintances that I have with their ability to kind of think outside of the box and keep things moving. So I would like to see them continue with that. I think an open-ended extension makes the most sense. It's the least conscriptive. And the only thing I would ask is that for people that we are allowing an extension for, that they have some kind of a reporting mechanism where they would kind of report back to us and say that this is what we did, and just so that we can learn, and if there's some great ideas that we can share with others, we can do that too. And so it's kind of a time when we should be both fiscally restrained, because we don't know what's coming yet with our locals here in Cochrane, and at the same time adaptive, I think.
Okay, then is it fair to say that we do want to put, like, if we say 6 months, at least it's not a hard deadline. It's just for them to give us an update of what's going on. Is everybody good with that then? And can someone make a motion, or do we want to have more discussion?
I do also have them tentatively scheduled to come in and present to us in September, which is just over that. So
Yeah, okay.
they could do it then.
Okay, do we have anyone that would like to make a motion then? We'll approve these guys for the extension.
I'll make a motion
Okay.
to approve extend the Seniors of the Bow funding for 6 months and request a follow-up report within that time
Excellent.
period.
Is everybody in approval?
Yeah, I'll second that. You bet.
Okay. And everybody's good with it?
Mhm.
Okay, guys, we're at 7:30, so we'll move on.
Okay, everybody, I'm gonna just head out here. So thank you very much for your time this evening. Look forward to catching up with you again soon. In the meantime,
Okay.
everybody stay safe and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thanks, Drew. It was good
Thanks,
to
guys.
meet you.
Take care. Nice
Yeah.
meeting you. Bye.
Okay, so we've done the 2020 Seniors on the Bow funding. The 2021 funding recommendations to council. Kim, what was the thoughts on that item?
So we have to go to council. When we made our decision making, that actually has to go to council for final approval.
Oh, so that's the usual thing. It
Yeah.
was the wording, I think, that threw me. I get you. Yeah, but when is that then? When is that tentatively scheduled for? What's the plan?
We don't have a firm date set. I was actually meeting with Drew tomorrow to talk to him about it, but we are looking at,
March 8th.
March 8th?
yes. It'll be either March 8th or 22nd, depending on when there's room on the council agenda for us.
Okay, so we just need to put together a bit of a preamble then, like we did last year.
Yeah,
So
it's
can you and I work on that? Is that okay? And then we'll send it all to the board to have you look at it before, and once, before we put it together final. And we'll firm up a date then of when that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Does sound okay for everybody? And we'll look for your input on it then as well. And Nicole's got her hand up.
Again, sorry. And I just want to remind you guys, when you guys did make the decisions, you wanted to make sure you saw the final reports. And then also make sure that that amount that we had decided on in November was still good to go, that you guys still agree on that. So we have 5 of them back and you guys don't seem to have questions on those ones. Are you guys okay if when we get the next ones in, that I just send them your way and you guys can give me the A-OK on that and we can sort of move forward that way?
That's going to be tight because March is around the corner.
That's, yeah.
See how we can do that. I mean, certainly we could all look at them as you get them in, but it is important, I think, to have a quick discussion on them. You know, can we not put that out, Kim? Can we not put that out to the next meeting?
So what we could do is I could try to shoot for the 22nd of March, which would
I think
allow.
that would be better.
Yeah, we can do that. And I'm trying to get in front of council for the task force that day anyway. So it would just mean I only have to go there one night instead of spending.
Yeah, I think that would be better, Nicole. That was a good point to bring up. And I think we need as a board to have it discussed at our next meeting. But
Okay.
if, Nicole, if we could get those as you get them in.
Absolutely.
It's easier to review them rather than all as a lump.
Totally.
Yeah.
Plus there's a couple of you that can't even get them as a lump of.
Oh, well, I don't know if it's the fact that I'm getting younger, but I had a hard time reading these. The print was so small, so. Okay, so if we're okay, we'll move on. So the advisory board recruitment, I don't know if all of you are aware, but Valerie's still here. Lorraine had to step down. So Kim, I'll put it over to you. What's the process for this now?
Well, so we were thinking of actually not recruiting. And can I tell you why?
Yes.
Yes,
Everyone
please.
looks like completely shocked at me. So when we've actually had an even number of people on our board. Because when we added the United Way rep on, it actually bumped us up one member and put us at an even number. So even though our board is incredibly good at, we generally come to consensus. If there ever was a major contentious issue that we voted on, and it was 4 against 4, we'd have to do like Fight Club, right? To get things sorted out. So we're thinking that if we do not recruit this particular position, that leaves us with an odd number on the board. And then we can actually go by voting. We don't have to go to Fight Club. So I thought I'd throw it out for discussion.
Well, I'm happy with that. I think we've got a good number on the board right now. And I have to say, I think this is one of the nicest and best boards that I've been on. So kudos to everybody. But what does everybody else think? Is everybody else in agreement? Oh, Lyle's got his hand up.
I have a thought about that. I'm all in favor of not searching on another board member. The only, and for the reasons that Kim suggested, but just as a thought is, we have said that our primary role going forward is going to be for advocacy. And if you think that each one of us, whether you believe it or not, should be able to reach every year between 400 and 500 people, because we all travel in different circles, that'll be 400 or 500 people more that we don't reach if we don't replace this position. Might be a risk, might not, but I would like us to think about the more people that we have on the board, if we're doing our job, the more people we reach out there in the community. So that would be my only concern.
Okay, good point.
Okay.
Anybody else have a comment on it? Or I think for right now, maybe we can put it on hold and revisit it again. Does that sound okay by everybody? Show of hands, if that's okay. Or, oh, no, wait a minute, Nicole, do we have to vote on that, or can somebody?
Yeah, we're making a decision, so we should vote on that. Make sure it's
I'll make
official.
a request that we leave the board as is for now. Can we have a seconder?
I'll second.
Okay, and everybody's in agreement? Thanks, guys. So I think that does it for new business. And there's nothing, is there anything under ongoing business that we need to consider? So would you guys mind if on the standing items, we bump the letter to Peter Guthrie up to the top and go into that next? Is that okay with everyone?
Sure.
And Nicole, can you put it up on the screen? So we've just done a bit of wordsmithing with this, guys, and with input from everybody. I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. Your feedback, your comments were wonderful. So in order to keep this down to just one page, this is more or less what, with the combined comments, we've come up with. Does anybody see any red herrings? Is that the right expression? Or anything, Lyle's laughing, that we should consider, or does this sound okay? And if everyone is in agreement, but if we need to discuss it more, let's do. It would be nice if we could, what I thought maybe we could do is we'll just get everyone to sign this, and from there we'll, and Valerie, your name should be correct.
Looks good, Mark.
Let me know, please.
No, it looks really good.
That was
The whole thing
totally
looks very
nice
good.
to
Thank you.
If everyone is in agreement, then I was thinking that maybe everybody could sign it, and it's something that you can do with a PDF document. Nicole, what would be the best way to do this?
I can email it out to everybody, maybe individually. That way we
I
have.
was going to do that. What I was worried about by doing that is if one person signs it here, one person signs it there, one person signs it here, how are we going to put it all together? Whereas my thought on it was maybe to post it on the board.
Yeah, we can
And then could they
definitely
go
do
in
that.
there? Would that be okay for everybody?
I think that would work. I haven't done that.
Well, I wasn't sure. So
And-
you're the expert.
We could definitely give it a try. All else fails, we can do like email it to Gressel, Gressel emails it back, then I can email it to Ryan, Ryan emails it back.
Well, no,
So-
I can do that. Like I had
If-
already thought of that, but it's going to provide, anyway, you and I will work
Let's
it
try.
out.
Yeah.
And if it's okay by everybody, can we get a consensus on it then? Because what I'm going to do is email it out to their office with the letter will be an attachment. Is everybody in agreement on that? We got a thumb up from Lyle.
Yep, I'm in agreement.
Oh, we got a thumb up from Valerie.
Yeah, I think we've been around the horn on this letter
Okay.
many times now, and I think it looks great.
Thank you, guys. Okay, I think we can get rid of it. And if that's okay, then we'll get it finalized. Nicole and I can work on how best to do that to you guys. So we get everybody's signature. And we'll get this hopefully out to Peter Guthrie early next week then.
Great,
And then we'll see where it goes from there.
great.
Okay, we'll go on to the next item. Fundraising. All. So I don't know if anyone has any comments on fundraising. I guess until we know what's happening with COVID, it is difficult to know what to plan there.
Yeah, I think we can park this for right now.
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea. Community trends. Dr. Kim, it's your name's beside it. I'm just going to step out for a sec.
In regards to trends, one of the things that the task force has done, and I'll just throw it in here, but we did do our second survey, got the results back. I don't know if this group would be interested in me actually coming and doing a short presentation on the survey results that we got that speak to a little bit of mental health of the community and where are people at right now versus where they were at in June. I'm working on doing a condensed, putting it together in a nicer, neater package than I did to the task force because we got a lot of results. So I can shorten it down, maybe do it in like 15 minutes next meeting if you're interested.
I think that would be great.
So do I.
Everybody else think.
Okay, yeah, we can
I
put
like
that.
it when everybody puts their thumb up. That's good. Okay.
The other thing that we're seeing here, we just had a meeting with our frontline team, is suicide staff. So over the past week, getting people in that are either having thoughts, have lost a family member or worried about it. Sexual violence is another topic. And CASA, the Calgary Sexual Assault Center, I'm not saying the proper name, but they have a wait list of a year right now. So
Wow.
we're looking at, so I've reached out to a variety of different places to see if it's possible to have outreach worker. We've always wanted somebody to come in and be able to work out of our office. So seeing if that's possible or if we can tap into virtual support or something in that nature. And I talked about the financial stuff. So lots of really hard stuff is walking through our door. Mental health is huge. People are tired. The isolation is taking an incredible toll on people. The not seeing family, not seeing loved ones, and we're just seeing some of the repercussions of that right now. And
Wow.
there's more to come.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's it then.
That's what I'm seeing. Is anybody else seeing anything happy out there? Or different than we're seeing?
I think
Lots of
that,
people who come to see me, sorry, Mark, lots of people who
No,
come to
that's-
see me, I do medical appointments and it's often their only outing. So I don't think this is happy, but they are so excited to come in for a test. I think that's happy, but I think it's reflective of how things are going right now.
Yeah, I think Mary's hit on a really good point. It's amazing the small things that make us happy right now.
Right on.
But yeah,
I know there was the town opened up the ice rink. Obviously, it's like minus 100 outside right now, so nobody's really skating. I don't believe, but that was a big thing, and it may not be the best surface. I hear that it's got some lumps and bumps along the way, but you know what? It's another avenue for people to get out, and I think we really need to celebrate the fact that we're starting to see even a mild bit of opening. And just so you know, the town is they did vote to put together a letter of support to the minister as well as to the premier that we understand that things have to close from health regulations, but we also need to be mindful of our business community and of all those things, because like I said before, it's not just if a business closes here in Cochrane, like that's sad enough, but many of our businesses employ many other Cochranites. And so if that business closes, it's not just the business that goes down, it's all those other people that end up losing their jobs along the way and their families that are impacted. And that is probably the more tragic scenario than just losing a shop and a sign, right? It's how many other people are affected by that closure. So I think that we celebrate all the great wins. We don't look at the negative, and we just keep forging forward, because that's about all we can do right now.
yeah, challenging times. Okay, are we good to? Kim, did you have anything more you wanted to add then, or?
Nope.
Okay, it says here, United Way update. I know Marg doesn't have anything. Have you heard anything though from United Way on when they want to do? They're not going to do those meetings now, are they? Or are they going to set them up virtually, or what's the plan? Have you? Okay.
Yeah, no, I have
Okay,
no.
so we'll move on to the rural update. Rick?
Yeah, actually, I don't have anything to report at this particular time, Mark. It's very, very quiet over here on the west side of Calgary, east side of Cochrane and Rocky View. Just not much going on at all. Not that that surprises anybody who's in attendance tonight. So how about you? Anything to add?
No, there's not been much. We have, the neighbors have all been happy not to see so much, I was going to say vandalism, but just
Crime. You bet.
crap left on the roads and different things disposed of. The break-ins don't seem to be too bad. It's been good. We're learning to live with all the delivery trucks. It's interesting. It's a shame right now for Westbrook. I'm dying to have a tour of that new school, but I guess they won't be able to do that for a while. I don't know. Somebody said maybe there was going to be the ability to do a virtual tour, but I haven't heard too much about it. But I don't know if anybody's seen it, but it's a different style that they've put up for a school per se. So it's interesting. But that's it for me too.
Okay.
And on an interesting note, that school was not funded from the province. It was me that Rocky View schools shelved out on their own. So just so you know.
Yeah.
So, from that update, Bow Valley High School has been on the top of the list for an expansion, not even a rebuild, just an expansion for the last 2 years. And it will be well over 107%. So they are looking for modulars, but it is critical that we get something to help our high schoolers here in Cochrane.
Well, the whole principle almost of Westbrook is modules.
Yeah.
Like
But
it was huge.
They don't even know if at Bow Valley High School, if they'll approve them, right? Because they have to be approved and then they have to be brought here. And that's a scarier part, right? Is that, you're sitting at the top of the list and it's not a new build, it's just an expansion. And that is scary.
Yeah, well. Yeah, it'll be interesting. Okay, on to the next one. Rick, you're up again. Caregiver support.
Okay, just a quick update. Our first caregiver session was last night. Jenny, Jessica, and I actually facilitated it. And we did that intentionally just to make sure that technology and virtual delivery, first time ever in Cochrane, was successful. And I'm pleased to report it was. We have a sellout crowd, which is 10 participants. Actually, one has just fallen away, to be quite honest. So we're down to 9, which is just fine. There's just no possible way we can take more than 10 into that program, just for so many different reasons, which I won't bother you with tonight, but just simply the power of the program is the people bonding with each other and just getting to know each other and opening up. And that's what happened last night. My gosh, I kind of oversaw everything. And it's like we've been talking about all this evening. People just want to talk. They want to get some sort of release going. So normally what we do is in the first half of the program, we have everybody tell everybody else, confidentially, of course, what's going on in their lives. What are their challenges? Be definitive, share. My gosh, I could hardly hold them back.
Wow.
So all of this to say that it was a wonderful evening. It went a half an hour too long, but we've already had feedback from a couple of folks today that they just loved it. So it's a really good news story for sure.
I don't know if anybody manage to go from the hospice or?
I think one did, actually. I think I saw a hospice recommendation there. And Marnie, unless you can tell me the name of the person, I don't know, but I'm delighted that somebody came forward to you.
Yeah, nice.
His last name is McFadden. No, related to Councillor McFadden.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, and there are a couple of familiar faces in this group, by the way. I won't, of course, share anything in this group, but because everything that goes on there is behind closed doors. But I'm actually thrilled because I think the virtual format, I have criticisms of it because you can't bond as easily. But the flip side of it is we got really good participation last night. So we're on our way and we'll be delivering the program over the next 3 weeks. So there's my report.
Very nice, very nice. Okay, so we're on to the Social Recovery Task Force. So Kim, you're up again.
Before we jump in, Lyle has put in that he has a question.
Thanks, Nicole. I had a quick question for Councillor Fedeko again when you were talking about the schools. One of the things that I've heard of in some circles was the thought that the pressure for developing new schools may be reduced by less people actually going back to school, that maybe 5 to 10% of students would continue online learning. Have you heard anything about that, or has that been talked in the school building circles?
Not necessarily. I don't think that it wasn't a huge pile of conversation. I think because the idea is that as the pandemic, I don't want to say goes away, but as we come back to normal, the idea would be that kids would be going more back to school, not necessarily staying online. But I don't think they even have that all worked out yet. I honestly, I feel sorry for the school board. I feel sorry for people in those positions. It's difficult. You deal with angry parents, frustrated parents, you're dealing with kids with anxiety, you're dealing with teachers that don't know how to teach, and all in a very scary world, right? So I feel for them, and also with a province that, well, let's face it, let's look at our social services. It's not like they're handing out fistfuls of dollars to those types of areas, right? So I think that constant push needs to be on our government, that this is not the time to cut back on any of those areas. So I don't know.
Today of $1,200 to $1,800 being given out to frontline workers and teachers for some of that. So that I don't know where that's going, but that was announced today. But you answered my question. Thanks for that. That's all I had.
Okay, I think Kim, over to you.
All right, task force. We have quite a few actually exciting things to report. So the survey, and huge kudos to Nicole Copses, who is here. She went through all of the data and analyzed it. We got this program, but she spent, I don't even know how many hours going through the data, compiling it, making sure it's legible. And seriously, I would die without her. So just want to give her some kudos. She's also breaking down all the data that we received as well. So we're hoping to pull out data specific to seniors so we can take a look and know exactly where our seniors are in terms of mental health and finances, our families. So she's working really hard to try to break some of that down too, so we can go back to Seniors Advisory Committee with that data, and they can start to do some work in their area, and we can go to the FRN with the data about the families, and they can start and focus and do some work in that area. So we're really trying to use this data, get it out to the community, and have the community take ownership, so it doesn't necessarily just fall on the task force, but how do we spread this out, get the knowledge out there, and have a whole bunch of different groups working on tackling these issues. So we're working on that. One of the things too that we're doing is we'll be creating a 4-page spread in the Cochrane Eagle. This survey was put out through the paper, and we had it was just over 50 people actually respond via the newspaper, so with paper copies, not online. And they requested to be able to see the results in the paper as well. So Nicole and I are taking a look at the data. We'll get it to communications, and they're going to make it look real nice and fancy, and it'll go out to the paper as well, which will help profile some of the social needs in the community. What else do I have to talk about? The basement. Our basement at FCSS is like, it's so beautiful, you guys. All of our technology is in. We have 2 big screen TVs on 2 walls. We have cameras in there. So moving forward, we're going to be able to have presenters present to a group in person, but we're also going to be able to stream it as well virtually. So that's going to reduce barriers. It's going to make sure that people have variety in how they access programs and services. They can either be in person if that's what they like. If they don't want to be in person, they can join virtually. They can interact virtually with our in-person people. I know people have been doing this forever, but not us. So exciting. We also are getting all of our offices repainted right now. So our basement's been repainted and remodeled, and life is just getting really good. It's really, really happy. We brought in Jody Carrington, Dr. Jody Carrington, a couple weeks ago. Did anyone get a chance to watch her? She was incredible, absolutely incredible, inspiring. She put out such an amazing, good message for the community. Nicole, again, extreme kudos. We took this presentation and actually promoted it out to the world. We sent it across the province through all our FCSS contacts. We had 1,669 views of her presentation in a 2-week period. So exciting. In doing that, we also raised the profile of the task force. We actually have people watching our task force meetings now, which is crazy. But we had something like 22 views of our last task force meeting. So either people are out of Netflix shows or we've intrigued them in some but we are really looking at our communication and how do we get out there. And it was pretty cool and we had people reach out, they want to use our survey, copy the task force, they're asking for our terms of reference. So really exciting, super exciting stuff is happening.
Very nice.
So yeah, I think that's
it.
Yeah. I did.
have a comment, and that is to support Kim Holey on Jody's presentation. One of the things I'm doing these days is I'm getting onto a number of webinars, some of which are on mental health and taking care of yourself and taking care of others in your community. And without a doubt, hers was enlightening. She is truly a character. And if you want to be entertained, for starters, sign on. I'd recommend it highly. But the substance of her presentation is simply outstanding. So it's a go. It's a go. Green light.
Okay. So that's a wrap then.
I'm just emailing Nicole right now the letter that Mayor Janung sent to the ministers. Would you like her to bring it up on the screen right now so everyone can have a quick preview?
No, I think if you email it to us, that would be good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I will ask that you don't share it around because I don't have permission. So I guess that's why I was looking at maybe should we look at it on the screen because I don't have permission.
For that, that's fine. Sure, go ahead.
We are live streaming on YouTube.
Oh, right. Excellent. So maybe we won't share it.
Email it is then.
Oh, we can't win.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're not sharing it. Okay. Now, just as a, like if the letter's going out and it's just going to the two ministers we were talking about, you'll let us know on the feedback, eh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so that'll be good.
I think the other request is simply when it does become a measure of the public domain or whatever terminology you use, maybe we can see it. I'm just quite keen on the idea that we're going forward on an advocacy run this year, and here we have the mayor doing this, and so that's why I'm saying, you know, we don't need it as a matter of record right now, but it would sure be great to see it at some point.
And maybe if you after we quit recording, we could chat.
I see. That's a wonderful idea.
Well, there you go. Okay, so we'll quickly say we're done the standing items. And we'll just do a quick, how is everybody? Do we want to go around the board? Rick, do you want to start us off?
Sure. I'm doing just fine, thank you. As I just shared, I'm busy getting very busy on my computer these days. Plus I have other board work as I've shared with other folks, with you folks. But yeah, actually in a retired format, I'm pleased to report one, I'm a good mental status. Well, I think my relatives would challenge me on that, but that's okay. But no, things are going along quite well. Thank you.
Okay, Ryan, how about you? Where are you at?
Things are going really good. It's been really busy the last couple weeks. Kindred's got some awesome events coming up, and I just had a meeting with a company called Rainbow Connect, which it's a business directory for safe space businesses, and they reached out to me to see if Cochrane would be interested. So that's really cool because like say if anybody ever wanted to move to Cochrane, they can just search this and it would bring up like all the doctors, schools, everything that's listed as a safe space. So I'm really excited for that. What else? Oh, I'm serving at Mr. Mike's again. So if you're down to have some mediocre service, just come on in and have me serve you. Tomorrow I'll be going back. I am funny though, so it always works out.
Well,
yeah,
I mean, it is good to see our restaurants opening up, you know.
It is. I mean, I'm excited to go. I miss seeing people up close. But yeah, we'll see how it plays out. It kind of worries me somewhat because I feel like people are just so confined that it's just going to go haywire. But yeah. I guess you got to wait and see.
Well, I know I was in town today. I went through the mall where Safeway is, and I was shocked at how busy, what is it, Smitty's? No. Yeah, Smitty's.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe all the cars there. It was amazing. But anyway,
Yeah.
well, stay safe.
Yeah. Don't worry. I'll be wearing my mask the whole time.
Okay. Okay, Lyle, how about you?
I'm doing well again. Nothing to report. I'm feeling, as I said, every other time guilty that I'm doing so well. I got just a comment for Marnie. Nice shirt, Marnie.
You guys match. Okay. Marnie, how about you then?
Well, thank you, Gressel. I turned another year older, so I guess that's an accomplishment all on its own. And I became a licensed real estate agent. So I banged out an 18-month course in about 2.5 weeks. So it was good, and I'm in a ton of training right now. But yeah, onwards and upwards. You know, and yeah, we have lots to look forward to this year. We do have a new CAO, by the way, obviously for Cochrane, and you know, there's some changes along the way. Obviously, bringing in a new personality is always interesting into the fold. But I think Mike's going to be good. He's got a lot of good ideas. He seems to be perceptive to hearing about our ideas and kind of moving the town forward. So lots of good things. And I'm the only other thing I wanted to mention is that there was an article. Obviously, most of you probably know Paul Winder, and we have a group that's called the Supporting Cochrane Businesses 2021, and it is on Facebook. And this is where individuals, even business owners are donating back to helping other businesses. So it's all about kind of spreading the kindness forward and in helping our businesses, especially the ones that have continuously been closed or been forced to close. So we try to do whatever we can to promote some good things. And we do lots of giveaways. So if you're not on there, join. Usually all you have to do is comment on the post and we give free stuff away. So if you aren't on there, please join so we can help spread the word. And even as of today, you know, I'm starting to see more businesses jump forward and they will also want to contribute, right? Because not every business has been hurt. So the successful ones are giving back to the ones that haven't been so lucky, and it's what makes Cochrane. So anyways, that's all I have to report. All good things.
Okay. Nicole, how about you?
Things are busy at work. Got a lot on the go with the task force and the survey results and that kind of stuff. Perfect Mind is our registration software, and I've been really busy with that. Our programmers are putting on a ton of programs, which is absolutely amazing, but they have to be input. So busy with that and working that all out. And helping the staff around here and kind of trying to stay in the virtual world, but also be safe too. So
And how are you doing with those kids?
we're good. They're missing hockey a lot, and we got the official it was canceled. So they're upset with that. But we are lucky. We live very close to the outdoor rink, and now with the new one right across the street, and I have one in my backyard that my husband built, a little one. So they've been going out and skating. So they've been keeping busy and out of my hair, which is the best part.
Okay.
Yeah.
Valerie, how about you?
Everything's good here. Just mostly working. I had a comment. We watched Jody Carrington as well.
Oh.
And the only comment that I'll make while we're recording is that Jody is my people. So if you had a question, I've been Jody. I know Jody. I've sat and chatted with Jody. I've had wine with Jody. Not literally, however, I know many Jodys over and over. She was fabulous. So, and then I shared that, and I shared it with both my sisters very purposefully. And one of them shared it with her city council. So I don't know if that had any impact or if that was, but she was so thrilled to see the Social Recovery Task Force that she then sent that forward. And yeah, so yeah. Yeah, it was really very good. So that's all.
Nice.
Everything's good here.
Good, good.
Actually, just a quick note, Jody was on the Marilyn Dennis show out of Toronto. I think last week sometime. I just happened on that. I was walking out the door and I had, if you can believe this, I just listened to Jody via Nicole's clip and I'm walking out the door and I hear this person. By the way, if you have not listened to this person, the minute you hear her voice forever, it's burned in your mind. She's a real character, as I mentioned, but just lots of fun.
Russell, how about you?
Yeah, well, still learning how to drive on icy road.
Yeah, that can be fun.
So last Sunday, I experienced a turn. And now I owe the town of Cochrane a small amount for the repair of their fence.
Oh, dear.
That's a little damage. I called them outright and I said, I damaged one of your fences in a certain park. I said, oh, let us assess that and pay for it. Anyway, on the lighter mode, on a positive note, one of our consistent recipient of our social services, a member of the Filipino community who applied for humanitarian compassionate considerations after she lost her status to work, finally got her PR. She opted to stay because of two Canadian-born children. And of course, it's very difficult to stay in Canada without status, right? So finally, would like to extend her gratitude for those support, and yeah, she's now legally no allowed to work again.
Oh, that's nice.
That's all for me.
Okay. So Kim, how about you?
Things are good. Things are good. They're busy.
How's
It's
this kid?
It's reporting season right now. I have 7 reports due by the end of the month.
Oh,
I will have 6 done by tomorrow, is my goal.
oh my gosh.
And then I'm going away on holidays I'm taking next week off and just spend
Nice.
time with my kiddos and my family, and we're not going anywhere, surprisingly.
Oh.
But we're gonna just
How's your son's health doing? Is he okay now?
yeah, he still has episodes, but
Oh,
things have improved like dramatically. So not like he used to, and he's smart. He catches it before he hits the ground now. So for those of you that don't know, he had vagal syncope, where when he stood up, he
yeah.
went down real hard. So we did that for months, but yeah, no,
Oh,
he's good.
oh, good, good. Now, if I missed anybody now, I've lost track.
No, I think you did.
Yourself.
Well, I'm good. And I think as Valerie mentioned and others have, you go between, I do go to work at times. Last week I was in 2 or 3 days. This week I haven't been in so far, but I think I'll go in tomorrow, and it is dead downtown. Like, I can't begin to express to you how dead. And Husky and Synovus are just getting into their layoffs. So that's going to be phenomenal for that area. It's just unbelievable. I never thought I'd see downtown that dead, but just what it is. But other than that, we are trying to stay safe and stay healthy. And I go into Cochrane, still try to walk, except for how cold it is lately. But other than that, I'm done. But it was good to see everybody. And our next meeting is March the 3rd, I guess, eh? So I think we can say we're officially over. And